At the Adventurers Guild, Rain submits the items that he gained from his quest to the guild receptionist Natalie, who informs him that he's passed his adventurer's trial. With that, he's now recognized as an F-ranked adventurer, and he's given 50 copper coins for completing the quest. Natalie also states that although the payout is paltry, once Rain completes more quests, he'd rank up and earn more money for his troubles. With ranking up in mind, Rain notes that he'll need lodging and, to achieve this, would need to earn more money. Later, Rain meets with Kanade in the cafeteria, where he informs her that he's an official adventurer now and asks if she'd like to accept a quest. As Kanade happily accepts, a man approaches the two and takes an immediate interest in Kanade because she is a cat spirit. When the man tries to court Kanade, she refuses him, claiming that she belongs to Rain because he's her tamer. Finding it hard to believe, as cat spirits is one of the ultimate species, the man challenges Rain to an arm wrestling contest with Kanade as the prize. Despite his hesitancy, Rain accepts the challenge and instantly wins, much to his surprise. Just then, Natalie arrives and, after observing the situation, apologizes to Rain and notes that the guild was aware of the man's antics and was considering suspending his license. Taking care of the man, Natalie formally apologizes on behalf of the guild. However, her inner voice leaks out when she asks Rain how he managed to tame Kanade. This makes both Rain and Kanade shudder in fear, and Natalie regains her composure and takes away the man. Once Natalie is out of the picture, Rain wonders how he became so strong, and Kanade explains that once he made a contract with her. As a result, his strength amplified. Rain's strength is believed to be as strong as Kanade's, and Rain is a bit surprised by this as no one back in his village had this experience before. Excited to take on a new job, Kanade's hopes are extinguished when they do herb gathering again. Kanade complains that they should be doing a more extravagant job. However, Rain explains that because of his F rank, they're only allowed to complete basic jobs. Although she decided to do her best so they could gain more experience and rank up, Rain forms a temporary contract with some horned rabbits to collect their quota of herbs. As discouraged over this as Kanade was, she hears screaming off in the distance, and Rain suggests they check it out. At the location, an old man and his mule are surrounded by a group of bandits known as the Ebon Fangs. Hiding behind a nearby bush, Kanade informs Rain of the Ebon Fangs' infamous reputation as a brigade of bandits with 100 members to their ranks. Although Kanade believes they should fall back and get help, Rain refuses and thinks they should take the bandits on themselves. Understanding her master's initiative, Kanade is told to rescue the old man while Rain deals with the bandits. The two then ambush the bandits, and as Rain deals with the bandits, Kanade checks on the old man while her inner monologue notes her worry that Rain may not be able to handle his newfound strength. However, as Kanade observes Rain fighting against the bandits, her heart starts to race, and when he finishes, Rain notices that Kanade's face is reddish and believes she was hurt. Kanade, however, denies the fact, and the old man speaks out to thank the two for their help. The old man then explains that a group of adventurers protected him. However, they fled when the bandits arrived, and he voices his concern over the reprisals of the Ebon Fangs. Briefly contemplating over it, Rain decides to deal with the rest of the Ebon Fangs, much to Kanade's surprise. En route to their destination, Rain temporarily contracts some animals around the surrounding area to scout out the Ebon Fangs. He also explains to Kanade his reason for wanting to deal with the remaining Ebony Fangs members and assures her that he has a plan on how to do so. Soon, they reach the Ebony Fangs hideout, and Kanade is discouraged that a temporarily contracted animal once again beat her to the punch of an important task. Rain then apologizes to Kanade, who regains her composure, noting that she was only fooling around with Rain, and asks him what the plan is from there on out. In his explanation, Rain details the plan hinges on another temporary contract with a bee, whose skill can paralyze a person for over 12 hours. Astonished that Rain could tame an insect despite being a beast tamer, he tells Kanade that back in his home village, he learned the basics of the tamer subclass insect taming for a while. As astonished as Kanade was, she's ordered to return to the town and get some reinforcements while he has the bees handle the Ebony Fang members. Although Kanade felt discouraged again by her value as Rain's familiar, she snaps out of her emotional state and learns the need for reinforcements. The reinforcements that Rain wanted were called the Order of Knights, a group tasked by the government to uphold peace in the lands. Understanding her task, Kanade leaves, and a swarm of bees arrives, and Rain forms a temporary contract with them all. Elsewhere, two of the three adventurers who were tasked with protecting the old man earlier before are revealed to have been Rain's old comrades, Mina and Leanne. The two curse their situation and how Arios and Agath were sucking it up with the nobility, while they're forced to take on jobs as adventurers. They then redirect their frustrations to the beast tamer they were partnered with, opening their dislike for his inadequacy as a beast tamer. However, in his defense, the beast tamer claims that the demands of the two were far too complex for him to accomplish. He also claims that their notion that a beast tamer can tame over 20 animals is impossible, which Leanne considers to be a lie and holds the beast tamer responsible for their failure. Accepting the responsibility after being coerced and threatened by Leanne, she internally refuses to believe that Rain is any higher than the garbage she thought him to be. Returning to Rain's side, his bees deal with the remaining Ebony Fangs members and Kanade arrives with reinforcements. As the reinforcements handle the paralyzed bandits, Rain notices that only adventurers are there and not a single member of the Knights of Order. One of the reinforcements reveals that the Knights of Order had no time to deal with a bunch of bandits. At that moment, a trio of Berserk King lizards break through their wooden cage and attack the Ebon Fang members and then Rain. Through the combined efforts of Rain and Kanade, they manage to take down the monsters, allowing the adventurers to carry the Ebony Fang members out of the area. Eventually, Rain and Kanade exit the Ebony Fang's base with Kanade holding on to the King Lizard's magical stones, and they're then praised for their accomplishment by their fellow adventurers. The praise sits well with Rain, who recalls being kicked out of Ario's party for being useless and is thankful for Kanade's help.